What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Drink That podcast. First, I want to apologize for the last time I tried to upload this episode. It cut out at 10 minutes for some reason on audio. So we're going to try that again. But before we do that, let's go ahead and subscribe, like, and share so that way we can get future posts when I drop them. And so that way we can beat this stupid-ass algorithm. Alright, so first, before we do anything, Charlie Kirk, everybody. Who did it? Who really did it? So, let's introduce a little bit of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was a conservative activist and founder of Turning Point USA, known for campus activism, youthful conservation, conservative outreach, and provocative debates. His ideological influence and how his touring brought him to UVU on the day that he was unalived. So it was the moment that changed everything on September 10th, 2025. It was a shocking and for a lot of people it was a national tragedy. For people like myself who are not political in nature, this was not, I didn't understand the severity of this at the time. Now, mind you, I do not agree with his ideology and his and the way that he represented himself 100%, but I can say that no one deserves to die for their beliefs, and that is just disgusting in nature. And the fact that people called for it and was like, yeah, kill him, or unalive him, yeah, he deserved what he got, blah, 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 like, those people are disgusting. And now, I'm not saying the people that supported him are always any better, but I'm saying that we're losing ourselves as a society when we start advocating for the death of other people just because their beliefs are different than ours. So, we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. And as I mentioned, on September 10th at UVU in Orem, Utah, he was speaking at a Q&A and then a single shot struck him in the neck. He was rushed to the regional hospital there and later pronounced dead. The forensics suggest the gunshot was supersonic, consistent with a high-powered rifle. Investigators recovered a rifle plus forensic evidence, footwear impression, and forearm prints. But the biggest thing in question is the security. Where the hell was all the security supposed to be at on that day? Like, you would assume that with him being who he was, there would have been a bigger calling for security and law enforcement in that area. So it just seems like it was a situation that was designed to happen. In the initial response, the FBI involvement, there were special agents leading the inquiry. They offered a reward up to $100,000. Excuse me. The suspect was Tyler James Robinson, 22, and he was later arrested in southern Utah. And according to Governor Spencer Cox, a family friend said Robinson confessed. Discord messages from Robinson's private chat reportedly included a confession. Hey guys, it was me at UVU yesterday. So I'm sorry for all this. I'm fucking surrendering. Thanks for all the good times. Later, he surrendered with his parents and a retired deputy sheriff's help. Forensic DNA evidence. The FBI announced that DNA from a towel wrapped around the rifle and a screwdriver recovered from the rooftop matches Robinson. I do not think that's what happened. I believe that because here's the thing: how did he assemble the rifle, take the shot, disassemble the rifle, jump from rooftop to rooftop? And mind you, the rooftop, when in the video, it shows his shadow completely disappear at one point, which gives it the illusion that it's a doctored image or a doctored video. And then on top of that, he jumps down, reassembles the rifle, wraps it in a towel, and then throws it in a bush. You all cannot tell me that makes any lick of fucking sense whatsoever. I just don't. I think that was to fuel. Well, let's give a little backstory about who Tyler Robinson was and why he did what he did, and then we'll kind of get into what I really think. He was indicted on aggravated murder plus other charges: felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, violent offense, a violent offense in presence of a child. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. And the motive was that Robinson allegedly became more politically radical leading up to the shooting, opposing Kirk's conservative views, and that's because his roommate and lover was transgender. Now, his roommate did claim to have no prior knowledge and cooperated fully, but I think that it was the perfect setup for a... So, this is the setup for a civil war. But here's the deal. This is what makes it different. It's not race on race. It's sexuality, sexual identification on top of against sexual identification. This is not your typical civil war. This is about something completely different in nature. But there was violence shortly after Kirk's death that was race on race related. And that's because, depending on what kind of clips that you watch of Charlie Kirk, some will show him as a racist, others, and that's the thing, is like you only get a piece of the conversation. So instead of watching a clip and letting that be what you believe of somebody, you need to go back and watch a whole debate. And I'm not saying that he was a good person or anything like that. I'm saying that educate yourself. Fully get all the context before you try to make assumptions based off of a 30-second clip, because it's just ignorant. But other than that, there were reports of ideological motivation tied to leftist causes and possibly LGBTQ activism. Messages reference leaving the rifle in a bush, wrapping in a towel, and watching the target area. Again, how would he have time to do all that without a tool? Like, he left the fucking screwdriver on the roof. So now there's political and social fallout from this. Bipartisan condemnations of political violence, high-profile figures, including ex-presidents, politicians, and social media, on social media are reacting strongly to this situation. And there's accusations that come with this. Some on the right blame the left broadly. And then there's also security and policy questions. It calls for reevaluating campus event security. No fucking shit. That should have already been a thing, especially for controversial figures. Discussions on how political rhetoric, partisanship, and extremism contribute to violence. A massive memorial was held. Over 90,000 people attended in Arizona. That's a lot of fucking people for somebody who didn't know the man personally. I really do think that we take politicians and movie stars and all these people and we put them up too high on a pedestal. And I think that we need to hone it back in, because that same day that he was unalived, a school was shot up. And I don't remember hearing anything about that until way after the fact and after the Charlie Kirk incident blew over. So I think, now, here's my thing. I'm going to get a little deep into my conspiracy mind for you guys real fast. I think that the assassination, the school shooting, the what else has happened since, the Epstein files, I think it's all a distraction from whatever this 3-Eye Atlas is. I know that's like way out into left field, but all these things are happening in a condensed amount of time ever since the 3-Eye Atlas comet came into question. And I think that and if it is alien technology, I want to know why they're trying so hard. But that's for a different video. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Reflections on his legacy, impact on youth conservatism, his future, and what his death means for political activism. Now, there's unresolved issues and open questions with this. Was Robinson acting completely alone, or did someone else help? I think his father set him up. I think that his father was a huge MAGA supporter, and Tyler was not, and his dad was essentially like, you're going to take the fall. Like, I don't know if this was a conversation that was open with Tyler or not, but I think that his dad disagreed entirely with what he was doing with his life, and he disowned him. I think he disowned his son, and I think that this was a product of that. Because who else would have had access to the rifle? Who else would have known how to take it apart and put it back together? Like that takes skill and lots of practice. And if it was passed down in the family, his dad would have had plenty of experience with that rifle. Let's see. What deeper motivations fueled him? Purely political, personal, or was this just mental health related? I don't think it was mental health related in any capacity. Will the trial reveal more about his radicalization process? How will this assassination affect political violence going forward, legally, culturally, or rhetorically? I think it's trying to lead us to a civil war, but I think that it only will do that if we continue to fuel the fire. I think that if we look at this like any other political death, then we will be fine. We can move on peacefully and we can get on with our lives. Will there be more reforms to campus security for political events? You bet your ass there will be, and there better be if they don't want this kind of shit to happen again. Now, the conspiracy theories surrounding this, I've already given you mine, is that Israel was involved. One of the most widespread claims is that Israel somehow was behind Kirk's killing or unaliving. Some conspiracy theorists argue that Kirk's more critical stance toward Israel made him a target. There's also a more elaborate theory that an AI-generated book about Kirk's death appeared on Amazon before his assassination, which some interpret as evidence of foreshadowing. Netanyahu has publicly denied the idea, calling such theories insane, false, and outrageous, and pointed out that Kirk was a supporter of Israel. That doesn't mean you can't make him a martyr, and it doesn't mean that you can't fuel your own agenda with someone's assassination. Just saying. Some say it was an inside job or a professional hit. It was definitely an inside job of some kind. The text messages allegedly from the suspect, Tyler Robinson, confessing to the assassination have sparked controversy. Some theorists claim the messages were fabricated or scripted by authorities. I could see that. Specifically, critics say the tone and detail of the text are suspicious, too clean or too perfect to be genuine. Now, I'm going to skip some of this stuff and get right to Candace Owens' portion of this. So to add validity to the theory that this was a planned assassination, Candace Owens posted this a few days ago on Facebook. Urgent. 2 days ago, I was contracted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I have deemed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens, meaning something happens to her. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in National Gendarmerie Intervention Group. I am told there is one Israeli that is on this assassination squad and that the plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they are well placed within the French government apparatus. Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassination trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement. Journalist Xavier Poussard's life is also at risk. This is deadly serious. The head of state of France apparently wants us both dead and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted, since the source claims our leaders are aware. But I have more specific information which is definitively verifiable should they care to reach out to me. To the brave official in France who did this because they were so moved by the evil of Charlie's public execution to risk their own life, may God bless you. Truly, let all be revealed. That, to me, sounds like a that sounds almost undeniable that she would go through all that trouble to wreck her own name for this. I think she's legitimately scared for her life. And I think that if everything's coming to light since 2024. Like, it's harder to hide because people are starting to not believe the lies anymore. So life needs a hard reset, and I think that we're getting to that point. And the truth will come out, and evil will be defeated in time. But I'm going to get out of here, guys. I've already shared my take on this. I'm hoping this plays all the way through this time. I love you guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Let's get this count up. Let's get this follower count up. I really would love to be able to post more often and get quality content on a regular basis for you guys. I love you. Stay safe. And remember, don't drink that.